the Meaningful Success Podcast. I am Siah, and this is my father.
I'm Wade.
Yes, he is. And what do we do here on this podcast, Dad?
Well, really, we have a conversation. It's kind of like a somewhat group therapy session to some extent, but we talk about the pursuit of life, our dreams, our visions, our goals, and those things that really make life and our visions and our hopes and dreams meaningful. And so it really spans the gamut of a lot of topics.
We're going to get into this week's topic shortly, but first, every week, we like to start with our win for the last week of just our success journey in some way. So I'll go first this time. My win for this week is that I found out yesterday, me and my wife, we've been working on improving our, financial literacy and growing in that area, which is an area that, in America, we're very poorly educated in. Through the work that we've been doing, my credit score has shot up 80 points, something like that.
Wow.
Or maybe more, somewhere between 80 and 100 points, just from the stuff we've been working on so far. So, and we've really not made that many huge changes. It's mostly just been trying to be really intentional about stuff. So that's been a big win. Finding that out was really encouraging.
Without getting into personal details, are there specific types of things that you've focused on that have you think have helped on that?
A huge thing that we've done is we made the decision to invest money into gaining this information, into getting the advice of a financial advisor, or he's not, that's a technical term. And I don't know for sure, I'm not knowledgeable enough in that area to know if that's legally what it is or whatever, if that's a legally distinct thing, whatever.
But that's the area he focuses.
Yeah. He a counselor, a coach, I don't know what to call it, but right. He's been super helpful to us. We've been working with him for a little while now. And it's one of those things where we just found the right person and just found somebody through Instagram. If you're in that position where even if you don't have a lot of money to spare, if you can invest a little bit to get the help from someone who knows their shit, who knows what to do, who knows how to help you, it makes a huge difference. Because so many of our issues, so many of our questions were kind of basic, but they were things that were keeping us stuck. They were things like, we could do A or B, and we really don't know which is better. And we really don't know which actually helps us in the long run more. And, and he's been able to give us some great strategies we wouldn't have thought of and stuff. But it started because we were we don't know what we're doing and we need somebody who does. Yeah. Not going super personal, but we're not wealthy. We don't have tons and tons of money. And so that was a big choice to make that investment. But even if you're not super, doing super amazing financially, there are resources out there. There's people out there who might be able to help you. And this win is going way longer than we normally do. But the point is, there's been a lot of really rough stuff going on lately, a lot of big discouragements and stuff. But that was a really bright spot to see, okay, in this area of life that we're making a deliberate investment, there's a tangible payoff happening. Credit scores going up, things are improving, so.
Beautiful. That's awesome.
What about you?
My win this week is really, or maybe this month is what I should say, is really kind of more on my career side of the equation. Every year I have a major project that takes place in the latter part of the year, right up to the end of the year. And we've made some changes that are kind of forcing that to be accelerated. So the good news for me on that is that it's kind of pushing that forward and to more like the September-October timeframe versus the November-December. So may have some more time in the holidays to actually enjoy the holidays, which is something that's really important. So so I'm already pretty significantly down the road on that major project, so that's a big win for me this go round.
Yeah, that's great. we were realizing, we're coming up on the end of the year, kind of what you were
Mhm.
talking about just now a little bit. We're in the last 3 months of 2023, and we've been doing this podcast since before the beginning of this year. So it's interesting. We can probably look back and see like, oh, here's some goals we had at the beginning of the year. I can tell you right now, as a fact, like, you know, I did not work out 200 times this year. I will maybe hit like 50. We'll see. But it's still really great to have goals and intentions, and just
Correct.
have some sort of a vision for things. So we were thinking it'd be fun to talk about if we look at just the next like 2.5 to 3 months, the rest of 2023, what are the things that we want to try to do? What
Yeah.
are our goals? Whether that's things we want to accomplish or ways we want to change or improve or whatever. What about our success journey are our goals for the rest of this year? So
Right.
why don't you share what some of that is for you?
Well, I'm going to start with kind of where I ended off with my win, because they're connected, because of the nature of some of this project that I mentioned I was able to kind of bring forward. Over the last several years, it's my work schedule has been extremely hectic in the November December timeframe, which meant that I haven't had as much time to focus on some of the holiday season type of things as I wanted to. And for me, that includes more cooking and more eating, but also watching the Christmas specials on TV or something like that, and
Rankin Bass.
and just doing different stuff. So for me, one of those objectives is just kind of more general. I just enjoy the holiday season more this go around, and so that's something I want to be intentional about. I've got some others, but I'll let you go with one of yours.
I think one of mine is maybe predictable if you've been listening for a while, but working on my writing, I really want to make, and I've gotten less and less like specific and tangible with this, which is the opposite of a SMART goal, but just with where I'm at right now, it's better for me. But I want to feel like, but when I get to the end of this year, that over at least the last like stretch of it, the next few months, I want to feel like I made some pretty solid progress with my writing,
Mm.
with writing my books, with just my writing career, and making progress with that. I just want to have a feeling of satisfaction and progress.
And you've done some rewrite of your book, correct?
Yeah, well, so it's kind of that's part of it's a whole thing. But the thing is like I was like 10 chapters into my second book, and I was getting some feedback as well as just internally I was realizing, hey, there's stuff here it's just not working.
Mm.
And now that's been a few months ago.
Mhm.
And I thought for a while I needed to completely start over. So I did start completely over. And then as I was working with my one of my writing coaches, she said, with what you've written now and what I've read that you wrote previously, I think actually the stuff you're adding now kind of fixes some of the problems that were in the original version. And
Mm.
so having she said, you focus on what you have now, not on what you had before. And what I have now is, the first 10 chapters of a book that honestly it still doesn't work, the original version. But I now have this additional writing that I've done in starting over, and I can kind of see how the new stuff strengthens the old stuff, and I don't have to start from zero as much as I thought I did. I think there's
Mm.
a lot more I can salvage and kind of put back together from what I originally worked on than I originally thought. And that's encouraging. It's a complicated process to try to write a book out of nothing. It's funny because I guess I thought it would be easier the second time than it was the first. It's actually so far been much harder
Mm.
than my first book to write. And that's from everything I've heard from my peers and my my writing groups and things like that. That seems to be pretty normal that some people have no issue, some people have all the problems in the world with the first book, and then the second is easy. Some people have a first book that's easy and the second one's a nightmare. Some people have the first two that
Mm.
are nightmares and the third one's like a breeze. It's like
It's all over the board.
It's different for everybody. Yeah, because it's the creative process, and it just changes and it evolves over time, and and some of it has to do with how your personal life's going, or all sorts of stuff like that too. So there's more factors just because it's such a personal thing. So that's my very long story short. I've been talking a lot today. That's my goal.
Okay.
By the end of the year is I want to feel like I've made solid progress with my writing between now and then.
Well, I think that the other thing that I would mention between now and the end of the year that I'd like to really focus on is actually starting a personal YouTube channel. And when I say that, I'm talking about for fun. I mean, do things on music, do things on what's almost like a vlog, what's on my mind that day, whatever's there. And I think that doing so will to some degree help facilitate or help me foster some of the other things I already have objectives. One of my personal goals is to spend more time in music than I have been in the last year or two, and that would help encourage that. That would kind of tie into that. Of course, doing this would require a number of things that I'm not familiar with. So, knowing what equipment to buy or just how to use my iPhone better to do that.
Learning how the skills of how do I film, how do I record, how do I edit?
How do I edit? Yes.
Yeah.
How do I even put things on the system? All the ins and outs of all that, which for a lot of people here probably who've got YouTube channels are like, boy, that's just basic, and it probably is. But for me, it's going to be a learning journey. So, even getting all that kind of stuff figured out and done, and by the end of the year, having something like that up and running, even if it's something I just post on once a month or whatever, just doing something to foster that creative part of it. I think that's going to be something that I'm going to do. But I don't plan for it to be something that some kind of obligation. So I'm not going to be doing it in such a way that I have to put something out every week, because that's more pressure. I want this to be kind of a fun project and kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, just something purely just for yourself, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I can ask you a few questions on the technical side.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but really, that's the main things. I mean, I there's probably some other things miscellaneous, but those are the two things that keep coming to mind. I mean, continue on the things that we've talked about before with, fitness and various things like that, and financial focus items. Those are more in the big picture. But when we talk about, the next 3 months, that's kind of what's on my mind.
I think my second goal for the rest of the year is pretty simple. It's just I want to continue to get healthier. Continue, and that is in the area of like physical health, but also, just emotional health, financial health. Like there's a lot of different kinds, and a lot of different parts of life. And I feel like I'm doing pretty decent on my journey. Like, it's easier in some areas than in others. But I just want to feel like, between now and the end of the year, I want to look back and be like, okay, I feel as a person holistically, I feel healthier than I was, a couple of months ago, even if it's just marginal.
Absolutely. No, that's good.
Yeah, so those are our goals. What about you? Please let us know if this has sparked any ideas for you and your own life, any goals, if you want to share them in the comments on the YouTube video, or, you can send us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/MSP. Just, share that with us if you want to, or on social media. You can hit us up at, we're all of our social medias. We've got our website. You can find all that at meaningfulsuccesspodcast.com. But yeah, we want to see the rest of this year through as a community. And so just let us know.
Yeah, and actually, I do encourage you to make a comment, even if it's just a comment on this on the YouTube channel of this, because there's something about putting something in writing that that helps you say, okay, this is actually something I'm going to work towards. I don't know why that is, but it tends to be the case. So, Siah.
Yes.
I'd like to know what your weekly favorite is.
Oh, it's the weekly favorite.
My weekly favorite is a show that Audrey has gotten me on. It's called What We Do in the Shadows. It's sort of like The Office, but about vampires. It's these vampires that live on Staten Island, and they're basically just going about their vampire lives. They're like traditional, live in coffins kind of vampires, and it's really funny, and it's a fun show. As far as like the style of humor, it's kind of a mix of something like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with like The Office or Parks and Recreation, stuff like that. I've been enjoying that. We've been watching that a little bit at a time, watching between all of our One Piece watching with getting Audrey through
Caught
One
up.
Piece. Yeah.
Excellent.
What about you?
Mine this week is I had dinner last night. Suzanne and I had dinner last night with my brother and sister-in-law, and that is my wife's brother and his wife. And it was a good time, but it was a good time to catch up with them and see how they're doing, and it's always good to talk to them. So
yeah, we got to see them like a week or two ago, something like that.
Yeah, they came down.
We got to have lunch with them. Yeah, we got to see them as they were driving through. So,
well, one other thing, it happened yet, but tomorrow is your birthday.
Yeah, as of recording this, we're recording this pretty far ahead of time right now because we're not going to be able to at our normal time. But yeah, we're recording this on October 4th. My birthday is the 5th. I'm going to be 31 tomorrow.
3-1.
I don't really feel very much. It's just, all right.
You'll gain more wisdom overnight.
Yeah, overnight. I'll go from a naive 30-year-old to a wise 31-year-old.
Sage, yes, your sage wisdom. Everybody, we really appreciate you listening. We do look forward to getting your comments and ideas, and send them our way. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, everybody. The Meaningful Success Podcast is myself, Siah, and my father.
That's me.
Yeah, that's him. Music is Brings Back the Feeling by Daniel Gunnarsson, licensed through Epidemic Sound. You can find all of our stuff at our website, meaningfulsuccesspodcast.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good week.